Every meaningful change begins with a conversation that most people never hear. It is the conversation you have with yourself when the room is empty, when the phone is silent, and when there is no audience to applaud your efforts. These moments are where your future is shaped. Many people believe success begins when opportunities appear, but success often begins much earlier, in the quiet decision to know yourself better than you know anyone else. The more clearly you understand who you are, what you value, and where you want to go, the less likely you are to be distracted by the opinions, expectations, and noise surrounding you. The world constantly competes for your attention. Every day, countless voices tell you what success should look like, what you should own, how quickly you should achieve your goals, and how your life should compare to someone else's. If you listen to every voice, you eventually lose the ability to hear your own. That is why silence is so powerful. Silence is not simply the absence of sound. It is the space where clarity is born. It allows you to separate what truly matters from what merely demands your attention. Self-awareness is one of the greatest competitive advantages a person can develop. It means understanding your strengths without becoming arrogant. It means recognizing your weaknesses without becoming discouraged. It means being honest enough to admit where you need to grow while remaining confident that growth is possible. People who lack self-awareness often spend years trying to fix the wrong problems. They blame circumstances, criticize others, or wait for perfect conditions. But people who understand themselves ask a different question. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this experience teaching me?" That small shift changes everything. Every challenge becomes a classroom instead of a prison. Every mistake becomes feedback instead of failure. Every setback becomes an opportunity to build resilience rather than an excuse to quit. This mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones because your focus moves away from what you cannot control and toward what you can improve. Silence also teaches emotional intelligence. When someone criticizes you unfairly, your first reaction may be to defend yourself. When someone misunderstands your intentions, you may want to explain every detail. Yet not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. Not every criticism deserves a response. Sometimes your greatest strength is the ability to pause before reacting. That pause is powerful. It gives you the chance to choose your response instead of allowing your emotions to choose for you. People who master this habit become calmer under pressure because they understand that emotions are valuable signals but unreliable leaders. They listen to their feelings without allowing those feelings to control every decision. In silence, you also begin recognizing patterns within yourself. You notice what consistently drains your energy and what consistently restores it. You discover which habits move you closer to your goals and which habits quietly pull you away. You learn what environments help you think clearly and which ones leave you distracted. This knowledge cannot be borrowed from someone else. It must be discovered through honest reflection. Many people fear being alone because they mistake solitude for loneliness. But solitude can become one of your greatest teachers. It gives you the opportunity to examine your beliefs, question your assumptions, and strengthen your purpose. When you become comfortable spending time with your own thoughts, you become less dependent on constant approval from others. This independence creates confidence. Real confidence does not come from hearing compliments every day. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you commit to waking up earlier and actually do it, your confidence grows. Every time you finish the difficult task instead of avoiding it, your confidence grows. Every time you remain true to your values despite outside pressure, your confidence grows. These repeated actions create an inner belief that no criticism can easily destroy. The beautiful thing about self-awareness is that it improves every area of life. When you understand yourself, your relationships become healthier because you communicate more honestly. Your career becomes stronger because you know where your strengths can create the greatest value. Your decisions become wiser because they are guided by principles instead of emotions or public opinion. People often search for purpose in dramatic moments, believing that one life-changing event will suddenly reveal everything. More often, purpose becomes clear through consistent reflection and intentional living. Every experience teaches something about who you are becoming. Every success reveals strengths to develop. Every disappointment reveals areas where character can grow. The quieter you become, the more clearly you hear your own values. Those values become your internal compass. They help you make decisions when circumstances are uncertain. They remind you what truly matters when distractions appear. They keep you grounded when success arrives and steady when difficulties emerge. Over time, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop comparing your progress with everyone else's. You stop chasing recognition simply because others are watching. You begin measuring success differently. Instead of asking whether people are impressed, you ask whether you are becoming more disciplined, more compassionate, more resilient, and more authentic than you were yesterday. That is real progress. The strongest people are not always the loudest people. Often, they are the ones who have learned to listen before speaking, reflect before acting, and understand themselves before trying to influence others. Their confidence comes from clarity, not attention. Their strength comes from character, not popularity. When you embrace silence as a place of learning instead of isolation, you discover something that many people spend their entire lives searching for. You discover yourself, and once you truly know yourself, the opinions of the world lose their power to define your future because your direction is no longer determined by the noise around you, but by the purpose that has quietly grown within you. One of the greatest distractions in life is the desire to be noticed. From an early age, many people learn to associate recognition with value. Good grades earn praise, achievements receive applause, and success is often measured by how many people acknowledge it. While appreciation is meaningful, it becomes dangerous when it turns into the primary reason for our actions. The moment your identity depends on external validation, you give other people the power to influence your confidence. But lasting fulfillment comes from a different source. It comes from focusing on progress instead of attention. There is a significant difference between looking successful and becoming successful. Looking successful often requires visibility. Becoming successful requires consistency. One is built through appearances, while the other is built through daily habits that very few people ever see. The challenge is that appearances create immediate rewards. Progress usually demands patience. Imagine planting a tree. During the first weeks, there is little visible change above the ground. If someone judged the tree only by what they could see, they might believe nothing was happening. Yet beneath the surface, roots are spreading deeper into the soil, creating the stability needed for future growth. Personal development works the same way. Long before your achievements become visible, your character is quietly taking shape. The strongest professionals, leaders, athletes, and creators rarely become exceptional overnight. Their success is the result of countless ordinary days filled with deliberate practice, disciplined decisions, and a willingness to improve without immediate recognition. They understand something many people overlook. The process creates the outcome. When your attention is fixed on recognition, your emotions rise and fall with public opinion. A compliment makes you feel unstoppable. A criticism makes you question everything. This emotional instability makes consistent growth almost impossible because your motivation becomes dependent on circumstances you cannot control. However, when your attention is focused on progress, something changes. Every day becomes an opportunity to improve rather than an opportunity to impress. You begin asking different questions. Instead of wondering whether people noticed your effort, you ask whether you learned something valuable. Instead of chasing applause, you chase excellence. Excellence has a unique characteristic. It continues to grow even when nobody is watching. One reason progress matters more than attention is because progress compounds. Small improvements repeated consistently create remarkable results over time. Reading 10 pages every day may seem insignificant today, but after 1 year, you have completed dozens of books. Exercising for 30 minutes each day may not transform your health in 1 week, but over months and years, it changes your body, your energy, and your confidence. Saving a small amount of money regularly may appear slow, but compound growth eventually produces opportunities that impulsive decisions never could. This principle applies to character as well. Every time you choose honesty over convenience, patience over frustration, and discipline over comfort, you strengthen qualities that cannot be purchased or borrowed. These qualities become the foundation for everything else you accomplish. Progress also requires humility. It asks you to accept that you are not finished learning. People who believe they already know everything stop growing. They become defensive when receiving feedback because criticism feels like a threat instead of an opportunity. On the other hand, people committed to progress welcome constructive feedback. They understand that correction is not an attack on their worth, but an investment in their potential. There will always be people who achieve recognition faster than you. Some will gain attention through luck, timing, or circumstances beyond their control. If your focus remains on comparison, you will constantly feel behind. But comparison ignores an important truth. Everyone begins from a different place and travels a different path. Your responsibility is not to outperform everyone else. Your responsibility is to maximize the abilities and opportunities entrusted to you. The quiet pursuit of improvement develops resilience. There will be days when your efforts produce no visible results. Projects may fail, plans may change, people may overlook your contribution. If your motivation depends on applause, those moments become discouraging. But if your motivation comes from growth itself, setbacks simply become part of the learning process. This mindset creates emotional freedom. You no longer need constant reassurance that you are moving in the right direction because your daily actions provide that reassurance. Every completed task, every disciplined choice, and every lesson learned becomes evidence that you are becoming stronger. Another remarkable benefit of focusing on progress is that confidence begins to grow naturally. Real confidence is not built by convincing yourself that you are extraordinary. It is built through repeated evidence that you can face challenges, solve problems, and continue improving despite obstacles. Confidence becomes the byproduct of competence. Ironically, people who stop chasing attention often become the people others admire most. Why? Because their actions feel genuine. They are not performing for approval. They are committed to meaningful work. Authenticity has a quiet power that cannot be manufactured. When your energy is directed toward becoming better rather than appearing better, you also inspire those around you. Family members notice your consistency, colleagues observe your reliability, Friends recognize your calmness under pressure. You never needed to announce your growth because your behavior communicates it more clearly than words ever could. Life rewards those who are willing to invest in foundations before expecting visible results. Every meaningful achievement begins with unseen preparation. Every lasting relationship grows through consistent trust. Every respected leader earns credibility through years of dependable actions. These things cannot be rushed because their value lies in their depth, not their speed. At the end of the day, attention fades. Headlines change, trends disappear, public opinion shifts, but progress remains. The skills you develop, the character you build, the wisdom you gain, and the habits you strengthen become permanent assets that continue serving you long after temporary recognition has been forgotten. So choose progress over popularity. Choose improvement over applause. Let others chase the spotlight if they wish. Your task is far greater. It is to become the kind of person whose quiet consistency creates extraordinary results, proving that the strongest success is not built on attention, but on steady, intentional growth that never stops. Discipline is often misunderstood because people associate it with restriction, sacrifice, or giving up freedom. In reality, discipline is not the enemy of freedom, it is the pathway to it. The choices you make every single day determine the life you will experience tomorrow. While motivation may inspire you to begin, discipline is what carries you through the days when excitement disappears and challenges arise. It is the quiet force that keeps you moving when no one is encouraging you, applauding you, or even noticing your effort. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. They believe that if they can just find enough inspiration, they will finally become consistent. But motivation is unpredictable. Some mornings you wake up energized and ready to conquer the world. Other mornings you feel tired, uncertain, or discouraged. If your actions depend entirely on your emotions, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline changes the equation. It teaches you to act based on commitment rather than feelings. Think of a builder constructing a strong foundation for a house. The foundation is rarely admired because it remains hidden beneath the surface. Visitors notice the beautiful walls, the elegant design, and the finished structure, but none of it would stand without the invisible work completed at the beginning. Character is built the same way. The habits you practice in private become the foundation for the success people eventually see in public. Every disciplined action sends a message to yourself. When you wake up at the time you promised, you tell yourself that your commitments matter. When you finish a difficult task instead of postponing it, you reinforce the belief that you are dependable. When you continue learning even after a long day, you prove that growth is more important than temporary comfort. These repeated decisions gradually shape your identity. Identity is one of the most powerful forces in personal growth. People often focus on changing their results without changing the person producing those results. They ask, "How can I become successful?" when a more powerful question is, "Who do I need to become?" Lasting success is rarely about one extraordinary action. It is about becoming the type of person who consistently makes wise decisions. Discipline strengthens this identity because it creates evidence. Every promise you keep to yourself becomes proof that you can be trusted. Confidence grows because your actions and your words begin to match. There is something incredibly powerful about knowing that when you make a commitment, you follow through regardless of circumstances. This kind of confidence is different from arrogance. Arrogance depends on comparison. It seeks to feel superior to others. Genuine confidence comes from self-respect. It is built through repeated acts of integrity. You know what you are capable of, because you have repeatedly demonstrated it through your own behavior. Discipline also teaches patience, a quality that has become increasingly rare in a world that celebrates instant results. We live in an environment where information arrives immediately, entertainment is available within seconds, and many people expect personal transformation just as quickly. But the most valuable achievements cannot be rushed. Strong relationships require time to build trust. Professional excellence requires years of learning and practice. Emotional maturity develops through experience, reflection, and perseverance. When you embrace discipline, you begin appreciating slow progress. Instead of becoming frustrated because results are delayed, you understand that meaningful growth is happening beneath the surface. Every workout strengthens muscles before dramatic physical changes appear. Every hour of study develops knowledge before expertise becomes visible. Every difficult conversation handled with maturity strengthens your character before others recognize your leadership. Discipline is also the ability to make decisions based on long-term values instead of short-term emotions. Every day presents countless opportunities to choose what is easy over what is necessary. It is easy to postpone important work. It is easy to avoid uncomfortable conversations. It is easy to remain within familiar routines. Yet every time you choose the harder but wiser path, you expand your capacity for future success. One of the greatest benefits of discipline is that it reduces unnecessary decision-making. Successful habits become automatic. You no longer debate whether you should read, exercise, prepare, or improve because those behaviors become part of who you are. This consistency conserves mental energy for solving meaningful problems rather than constantly negotiating with yourself. There will always be moments when discipline is tested. Unexpected setbacks will interrupt your plans. Criticism may shake your confidence. Failures may tempt you to quit. During those seasons, character becomes more important than talent. Talent may open doors, but character determines whether you are prepared to walk through them responsibly. The remarkable thing about disciplined people is not that they never struggle. They struggle just like everyone else. The difference is that they refuse to let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. They understand that difficult seasons are temporary, but the habits they maintain during those seasons shape the future. Your daily routines eventually become your legacy. Small choices repeated over months and years determine the quality of your health, your relationships, your career, and your personal fulfillment. Great lives are rarely built through dramatic moments alone. They are built through thousands of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. As your discipline grows, something unexpected begins to happen. Other people start trusting you more because you have become reliable. Opportunities increase because people know you will deliver. Challenges become less intimidating because you have developed resilience through repeated practice. You stop relying on luck because your preparation creates confidence. Most importantly, discipline allows you to become the person you admire. Instead of wishing for a different future, you actively build it one decision at a time. Every disciplined action becomes another brick in the foundation of your character. Over time, those bricks create a life marked by integrity, resilience, wisdom, and purpose. In the end, discipline is not about perfection. You will still make mistakes. You will still face moments of doubt and disappointment. But discipline teaches you to begin again, to remain faithful to your values, and to keep moving forward regardless of temporary setbacks. That steady commitment transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, proving that true greatness is not found in occasional moments of brilliance, but in the quiet consistency of a disciplined life.
One of the most powerful habits you can develop is learning to protect your vision by speaking less and doing more. In a world where people are encouraged to share every goal, every plan, and every idea before it has had the chance to grow, there is incredible strength in quiet preparation. Silence is not about hiding because of fear. It is about protecting what is valuable while it is still developing. Just as a seed grows beneath the soil before anyone sees a tree, many of the most important transformations in life happen long before they become visible to others. When people set a new goal, there is often a temptation to announce it immediately. They tell friends, post it online, or seek encouragement before taking meaningful action. While support from others can sometimes be helpful, there is also a hidden danger. Talking about your goals can create the feeling of accomplishment before you have actually earned it. The excitement of sharing your intentions can temporarily satisfy the desire for progress, making it easier to delay the difficult work that truly creates results. Real growth begins after the conversation ends. It begins when nobody is watching, when there are no compliments to motivate you, and when the only person holding you accountable is yourself. Those quiet moments reveal the strength of your commitment. Anyone can talk about discipline, but only disciplined people consistently practice it. Anyone can describe their dreams, but only those willing to work in silence eventually turn those dreams into reality. There is another reason silence is so valuable. Not everyone will understand your vision. Every meaningful goal challenges what is comfortable and familiar. Some people may doubt your abilities because they judge your future by your current circumstances. Others may unintentionally discourage you because they project their own fears onto your ambitions. Their words may not come from bad intentions, but they can still weaken your confidence if you allow them to take root. This is why protecting your vision matters. A young plant needs shelter before it can withstand strong winds. Likewise, your ideas, habits, and goals often need time to become strong enough to survive criticism. When your commitment becomes deeply rooted, outside opinions lose much of their influence. You no longer depend on approval because your purpose has become stronger than your desire to be understood. Silence also teaches patience. Modern culture often celebrates immediate visibility. People want quick recognition, instant success, and rapid results. Yet the most meaningful accomplishments rarely happen that way. A respected leader is not built in one speech. A successful business is not built in one day. A strong relationship is not built through one conversation. These things require consistent effort over time. When you stop announcing every step, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure. Instead of worrying about whether others think you are making progress, you simply focus on making progress. Your attention shifts from managing appearances to improving performance. This creates a healthier relationship with success because your motivation comes from purpose rather than public opinion. Another remarkable benefit of speaking less is that you become a better observer. Many people spend so much time expressing their thoughts that they forget to listen. Yet listening is one of the greatest sources of wisdom. When you remain quiet, you notice patterns that others miss. You hear concerns that people rarely express openly. You recognize opportunities hidden beneath ordinary conversations. The person who listens carefully often gains insights that the loudest person in the room never discovers. Silence also strengthens emotional maturity. There will always be situations where people misunderstand your intentions or question your decisions. Your first instinct may be to defend yourself immediately. However, not every accusation deserves an argument, and not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. Sometimes your peace is worth more than winning a debate. Choosing silence in these moments does not mean you have nothing to say. It means you have learned that your energy is valuable. Every unnecessary argument consumes emotional strength that could have been invested in something meaningful. Wise people carefully choose where they place their attention, because they understand that focus is one of life's most valuable resources. Over time, Your actions begin speaking louder than your words ever could. Consistent behavior creates credibility. People may ignore promises, but they notice reliability. They may question your intentions, but they respect integrity demonstrated over time. The most trusted individuals are rarely those who make the biggest promises. They are the ones whose actions repeatedly confirm their character. Protecting your vision also helps you remain humble. Success can sometimes create the temptation to seek admiration instead of continued growth. Silence reminds you that there is always more to learn. It keeps your attention on the process rather than the praise. This humility allows continuous improvement because you never believe you have reached the point where growth is no longer necessary. There is a quiet confidence that develops when you stop feeling the need to explain yourself. You no longer require everyone to understand your choices before moving forward. You realize that your responsibility is not to gain universal approval, but to remain faithful to your purpose. This confidence creates emotional stability because your direction is no longer controlled by changing opinions. As months and years pass, people begin noticing the difference. They see your consistency. They observe your calmness under pressure. They recognize the results produced by years of disciplined effort. Many will assume your success appeared suddenly because they only noticed the outcome. They did not witness the countless mornings of preparation, the evenings of learning, the sacrifices, the setbacks, and the quiet decisions that built the foundation. The truth is that extraordinary lives are rarely created through loud announcements. They are built through silent commitment. Every day you choose focused action over unnecessary conversation. You strengthen your character. Every time you let your work speak instead of your ego, you increase your credibility. Every moment you protect your vision instead of seeking immediate validation, you give your future a stronger chance to flourish. So learn to value quiet progress. Let your habits reveal your priorities. Let your discipline become your reputation. Speak with purpose, but never feel obligated to announce every dream before it has the opportunity to grow. In the end, people may forget your promises, but they will always remember the life your actions created. True success is not built by those who talk the most. It is built by those who quietly remain committed until their results tell the story for them. Success is rarely the result of one extraordinary moment. More often, it is the outcome of countless ordinary moments handled with extraordinary consistency. People are naturally drawn to dramatic stories of overnight success because they are exciting and easy to remember. We see the championship trophy, the thriving business, the best-selling book, or the inspiring leader standing confidently before a crowd. What we often fail to see are the thousands of small decisions that made those achievements possible. Greatness is not built in a single day. It is built one disciplined choice at a time. Every meaningful accomplishment begins with actions so small that they can easily be ignored. Reading a few pages each day does not seem remarkable. Exercising for 30 minutes may not feel life-changing. Saving a little money each week appears insignificant. Practicing a skill for an hour after work may seem ordinary. Yet these simple actions carry extraordinary power because they are repeated. Consistency transforms ordinary habits into remarkable outcomes. Think about the flow of a river. A single drop of water appears powerless, but millions of drops flowing in the same direction over many years can carve through solid rock. The power is not found in one dramatic moment. It is found in persistent movement. Your daily habits work the same way. Each small action may seem insignificant by itself, but together they shape your character, your abilities, and ultimately your future. One of the greatest obstacles to consistency is impatience. We naturally want immediate results because visible progress gives us confidence. But life rarely rewards meaningful effort instantly. A farmer does not plant seeds today and expect a harvest tomorrow. There is a season for planting, a season for nurturing, and a season for harvesting. Personal growth follows the same pattern. You must be willing to invest effort today for results that may not appear until months or even years later. This requires faith in the process. Faith does not mean ignoring reality or expecting success without effort. It means believing that disciplined actions repeated consistently will eventually produce meaningful results even when those results are not immediately visible. Every day you honor your commitments. You strengthen the foundation upon which your future will stand. Consistency also removes the pressure of perfection. Many people fail because they believe every effort must be flawless. They miss one workout and decide the entire routine is ruined. They make one mistake and conclude they are incapable of succeeding. But lasting success has never depended on perfection. It depends on persistence. Progress is not about never falling down. It is about getting back up every time you do. Imagine climbing a mountain. No single step carries you to the summit. Every step seems small compared to the distance remaining. Yet each step moves you closer than you were before. If you stop because the summit is still far away, you guarantee that you will never reach it. But if you continue taking one step after another, eventually the impossible becomes possible. The mountain is conquered not by giant leaps, but by faithful movement. This principle applies to every area of life. Healthy relationships are not built through one grand romantic gesture, but through consistent honesty, respect, kindness, and communication. Strong careers are not created through occasional brilliance, but through dependable performance and continuous learning. Physical health is maintained through regular habits, rather than temporary bursts of motivation. Emotional resilience develops through repeatedly choosing courage over comfort. When life becomes difficult, consistency creates trust. When people know they can depend on you, opportunities naturally increase. Employers trust reliable employees. Friends trust dependable companions. Families grow stronger when members consistently support one another. Leadership itself is built on consistency because people follow those whose actions remain steady even when circumstances become uncertain. There is another powerful benefit of consistency that is often overlooked. It simplifies decision making. When positive habits become part of your identity, you no longer spend energy debating whether you should do them. You simply act because that is who you have become. A person who identifies as a lifelong learner does not question whether reading is worthwhile. A person committed to integrity does not negotiate whether honesty is convenient. Identity removes hesitation. The challenge is that consistency often feels boring. It lacks the excitement of dramatic change. Repeating the same healthy choices day after day may seem ordinary, even monotonous. Yet mastery is often found within repetition. Musicians practice scales. Athletes repeat basic movements. Skilled professionals refine foundational principles long after they become successful. They understand that excellence is maintained through consistency, not occasional inspiration. Small actions also build momentum. Every completed task creates confidence for the next one. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your belief that you are capable of greater responsibility. This momentum becomes self-reinforcing. The more consistently you act, the easier disciplined choices become because they align with the person you are becoming. There will be days when you do not feel motivated. There will be moments when progress seems invisible. You may question whether your efforts are making any difference. During those seasons, remember that invisible progress is still progress. Roots grow underground before branches reach toward the sky. Foundations are completed before buildings rise into view. Character develops quietly before success becomes visible. Do not underestimate the value of one good decision. One conversation handled with patience can strengthen a relationship. One chapter read today can introduce an idea that changes your future. One act of courage can open a door that fear kept closed for years. Life is shaped by moments that appear ordinary until time reveals their significance. As the months pass, people may begin asking how your life changed so dramatically. They will notice your confidence, your discipline, your wisdom, and your success. What they may never fully understand is that your transformation did not begin with one extraordinary breakthrough. It began with a series of ordinary choices repeated with extraordinary faithfulness. So never dismiss the importance of today's small actions. Every healthy habit, every lesson learned, every promise kept, and every disciplined decision is becoming part of something much greater than you can currently see. The future you hope for is not built in one defining moment. It is built through consistent choices made every single day. Over time, those small actions become extraordinary results, proving that lasting success belongs to those who remain faithful to the process, long after the excitement of the beginning has faded. Leadership is often misunderstood as a position, a title, or a level of authority. Many people believe that leadership begins when others choose to follow them. But genuine leadership starts much earlier. It begins the moment you decide to take responsibility for your own life. Before you can guide a team, influence a family, inspire a community, or make a difference in the world, you must first learn to lead yourself. Self-leadership is the foundation upon which every lasting influence is built. Without it, external success becomes difficult to sustain because there is no strong character supporting it. Leading yourself means accepting complete responsibility for your choices. It requires the courage to stop blaming circumstances, other people, or past experiences for where you are today. While you cannot control everything that happens to you, you always have influence over how you respond. This realization is incredibly empowering because it shifts your attention from what is outside your control to what is within your reach. Every day presents countless opportunities to practice self-leadership. It is reflected in how you manage your time, how you respond to disappointment, how you treat people who cannot offer you anything in return, and how you behave when no one is watching. These ordinary moments reveal the true quality of your character, far more than public achievements ever could. One of the greatest qualities of a strong leader is integrity. Integrity means your actions consistently align with your values. It means doing the right thing even when it is inconvenient, unpopular, or unnoticed. A person with integrity does not change principles depending on the audience. Whether standing before a crowd or sitting alone in a quiet room, they remain committed to the same standards. This consistency creates trust, and trust is the foundation of all meaningful leadership. People naturally follow those they trust. They are inspired not simply by intelligence or talent, but by authenticity. They observe whether your words match your actions. They notice whether you remain calm under pressure or become controlled by emotion. They pay attention to how you respond to failure, because difficult moments often reveal more about a person's character than successful ones. Self-leadership also requires emotional discipline. Every person experiences frustration, fear, disappointment, and uncertainty. The difference is not whether these emotions appear, but how they are managed. Effective leaders do not pretend difficult emotions do not exist. Instead, they learn to acknowledge those emotions without allowing them to dictate every decision. They recognize that feelings provide valuable information, but values must provide direction. There will be moments when taking responsibility feels uncomfortable. Admitting mistakes is rarely easy. Accepting correction may challenge your pride. Changing long-standing habits requires humility and persistence. Yet, these experiences become opportunities for growth rather than reasons for discouragement. Every time you take ownership instead of making excuses, you strengthen your ability to lead both yourself and others. Humility is another essential quality of self-leadership. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself accurately. It means recognizing your strengths while remaining aware that there is always more to learn. Humble people ask questions because they value wisdom more than appearing knowledgeable. They welcome constructive feedback because improvement matters more than protecting their ego. Learning never ends for a person committed to leadership. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to gain perspective. Every challenge teaches resilience. Every mistake provides insight that success alone could never offer. This mindset creates continuous growth because leaders understand they are always becoming, never finished. Another important aspect of leading yourself is learning to manage your priorities. Many people confuse being busy with being productive. They fill every hour with activity, yet make little meaningful progress because they spend their energy on what is urgent rather than what is important. Self-leadership requires intentional focus. It asks you to identify the activities that align with your long-term purpose and to consistently invest your time there. This often means saying no to distractions, even attractive ones. Every opportunity carries a cost because saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. Wise leaders understand that protecting their focus is essential. They do not allow every request, trend, or expectation to determine how they spend their energy. Instead, they make decisions guided by principles rather than pressure. Self-leadership also shapes the way you influence others. The most powerful lessons are rarely taught through speeches alone. They are taught through example. Family members observe your habits. Friends notice your consistency. Colleagues recognize your reliability. Children especially learn far more from what they see than from what they hear. Your daily behavior quietly communicates your values long before your words do. Influence grows naturally when people witness consistency over time. They begin trusting your judgment because you have demonstrated wisdom repeatedly. They seek your advice because your life reflects the principles you encourage others to follow. This kind of influence cannot be demanded. It must be earned through faithful character. There will always be obstacles on the journey of leadership. Unexpected failures will challenge your confidence. Criticism may test your patience. Success itself may tempt you toward pride. During each season, self-leadership becomes your anchor. It reminds you that your worth is not determined by temporary outcomes, but by the integrity with which you continue moving forward. The remarkable truth is that the better you lead yourself, the less you need to convince others to follow you. Your consistency becomes persuasive. Your humility becomes attractive. Your courage inspires confidence. People are drawn to those who embody the values they speak about, because authenticity creates lasting respect. Ultimately, leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room or having the most impressive title. It is about becoming the kind of person whose life reflects wisdom, discipline, compassion, and integrity. It is about making choices that honor your values even when no applause follows. It is about serving others without seeking recognition and remaining faithful to your purpose through every season of life. When you learn to lead yourself first, everything else begins to change. Your decisions become clearer because they are guided by principles. Your relationships become stronger because they are built on trust. Your confidence becomes steadier because it is rooted in character rather than approval. And your influence expands naturally because people do not simply hear what you believe. They see it lived out every single day. That is the essence of true leadership. And it is a legacy that no title or position can ever replace.